Hey guys, Coach Kazama here, Modified Tekken Coach, and today we'll be going over everything you need to know about Asuka Kazama. We'll go over her key close range moves, mid-range moves, her throws, frame traps, combo routing, and heat. We'll also go over the general mindset you'll have when you're playing Asuka. So first we'll start out with down back 1-2. Down back 1-2 is a mid-high heat engager, and is also really good for catching your opponent if they like to jab or use highs. So have Reina set to jab after blocking an attack. We'll just use down back 1-2. Down back 1-2 is just going to duck right under those jabs and get you that heat engager. This move is very useful just to throw out even to get a counter hit, because the evasiveness of it makes it very useful. The evasiveness of down back 1-2 makes it one of Asuka's core moves. She also has down back 1-4. But I advise probably not to use this unless you're using it in a combo. If you use down back 1-4, you can get punished pretty heavily and you'll throw away all of your pressure. Also like to note that down back 1-2 can be delayed slightly. The good thing about this move is that if they get hit by the first hit, they have to get hit by the second one. So just be ready for it. Back 4 is one of my favorite moves to use at this range, as you get a free combo on counter hit. Back 4 is really good to use to get counter hit timings on your opponent. If you think your opponent is going to retaliate, if your opponent is playing predictably, back 4 is a great move to use, because you'll be able to get a counter hit timing on them. So we'll have Reina jab after she blocks my jab. So back 4 is really good to use against people who like to mash, or if you have a predictable read on them. This also works if you guys are just going back and forth, and you think they're going to start their offense, back 4 will shut this down as well. There are two other hits to back 4, which is 2 and 3. But since you can delay the second hit, I like using this as well. But for the most part, I would just stick with back 4. The next move we'll look at is back 3. Back 3 also has high crush properties, so in certain scenarios, a jab or a high will actually get counter hit by this move. I'll try not to use back 3 as a form of offense, however I would try and use it to punish people who are whiffing. If your opponent blocks this move, it's also launch punishable. So you don't want to throw this move out hoping that they just walk into it. What you want to do instead is react and use it accordingly. For example, we'll just try and react to one of Reina's moves. So we were able to punish her forward 4 with our back 3, and we were reacting to see the move come out and then press back 3. That way we don't have to worry about getting punished really hard for using this move. Next move we'll look at is 3-1. 3-1 is a really good mid check. If you notice your opponent likes to duck a lot, 3-1 is really good to use, as if you finish this string on hit, so make sure you take the opportunity to press another button after hitting this, otherwise you're giving up your pressure and opportunities to mix up. For example, we'll have Reina press some buttons after getting hit with 3-1. So there we use back 4 to counter hit them, since we have that frame advantage. Another move that's really good to use is down forward 1-2. So now we also have down forward 1-2. Down forward 1-2 is a 2-hit string, and if they try to interrupt it at any point, they're going to get hit with the second hit. We also have down forward 1-4, which works in the same exact way. So here we'll have Reina try and jab through one of these strings. She gets counter hit, and same with down forward 1-4. Make sure to take advantage of this combo opportunity. You can also try and condition our opponent to press buttons after the very first hit, by just using down forward 1. If they start taking their turn back after down forward 1, then we can start peppering in our down forward 1-2 and our down forward 1-4. So next is 2-1 down 1 plus 2, which looks like this. So this string is really good because if they try to interrupt it with anything that's not a jab, you actually get a full combo. So we'll have Reina try and interrupt this string. So there we see we get a counter hit because Reina tried to use a move that wasn't a jab to interrupt this string. You'll notice people will start to get antsy when they start blocking this too much. This is why it's really good to have this string in your arsenal. If your opponent does like to jab, however, then we can use 2-1-1 plus 2. I would like to note that you can cancel the third hit of down 1 plus 2 by holding back. Once your opponent sees the string enough, they'll respect it and you'll also get another turn. Now let's talk about her power crush. So her power crush is forward 1 plus 2. It's really good to use if your opponent is pressuring you. It's also good to continue your own offense. So there we actually absorbed some of those hits and got that health right back. Now we'll talk about some of her lows. So our first low I'm going to talk about is down 1+2, just like this. So down 1+2 is going to be the way you open up your opponent. Don't be afraid to throw out down 1+2 when you're in their face, because once they get afraid of this move, you're going to become a lot stronger, because Asuka's mids are really good. Eventually your opponent will get used to down 1+2, and they'll look like this once they get off the ground or you're in their face. Yes, they'll be able to block down 1+2. This also gives you the opportunity to use all of your strong mids now. So back 3, we talked about, we'll launch them. Back 4 will hit them. Down forward 1-2 will also hit them. 3-1 will now hit them. We have other moves to deal with this. She also has her snake edge, which you slide from 3 to 4. I don't recommend using this move at all, as it's way too slow to be practical and is very easy to react to. She also has her snake edge, which you slide from 3 to 4. Looks like that. Gives you a free combo on hit and is also very slow. So be careful about using this move, and just know you can also cancel it by holding down back. Mixing up your lows with down 1+2, we can also just use 1+2. So this is a 50-50, and 1+2 and down 1+2 are going to be the moves that you want your opponent to be very afraid of. 1+2 has pretty short range, so if you're going to use it, dash first and then press 1+2. Don't be afraid to use these moves, as these are one of Asuka's core mids and lows. Now we'll talk about mid-screen. So mid-screen, we want to be focused on whiff punishing our opponent and also controlling our space. The best way we can control our space is to use forward 3. It reaches very far and is also safe on block. We also get a special knockdown on counter hit. This allows us to walk up and get our pressure started. Another move I like to use is forward 2-3. If they try and mash in between the string, they're going to get hit. Other variations of forward 2 are forward 2-1 and forward 2 1+2. The reason I don't use these variations, people will get used to the string and duck under forward 2-1 and launch you for it. Forward 2 1+2 is punishable, so it's best to just be safe and use forward 2-3. People are pressing buttons randomly mid-screen. Asuka's the best at punishing these moves. So we'll have Reina try and press buttons at mid-screen, and we'll try and whiff punish her. Using forward 2 is best when you can react to your opponent whiffing instead of trying to hope that they run into this move. The reason for this is because if they block forward 2, you can get launched and punished for it. Up forward 3 is also a great move to use at this mid range, because if you get a counter hit, you get a full combo. So try mixing up these moves and controlling the space in front of you instead of your opponent getting a free approach on you. Down 2 is also pretty good to use, but it can be slow and you can get counter hit for it. However, if it does land, you get a heat engager. Now we'll talk about Asuka's frame traps. So if they block forward 1, we have an extra 5 frames to attack before they do, which means we can input down back 1-2, and if they press anything in between this sequence, they're going to get hit. We'll have Reina try and press some buttons in the middle of this frame trap. And we see that we got a counter hit. This frame trap only works if you input the follow-up immediately. If you wait, you'll end up getting hit yourself. Another frame trap Asuka has is forward 4. This gives us a little bit less plus frames to work with, but the idea is still the same. We see Reina's trying to mash or press any button after this move, and they get hit. The other frame traps are going to be under the Naniwa Gusto section, so we'll come back to that. Asuka also has 2 special throws, down forward 2+3, which they have to break with 1. She also has down back 1+2. You only have access to when you're crouching. These moves are just there to mix up your offense and are really good to have in your arsenal. Regular throws are also really good. Know you have the opportunity to use these special throws. My advice would be to use these throws in the middle of your offense. Some fun ways to set up these throws are use back 1 to get into her crouching throw. Another way I access this crouching throw is by canceling forward 2 by holding down. There are a bunch of creative ways to use Asuka's throws, so just go to practice mode and play around with it. Now let's look at her combo routing. So her bread and butter combo routing is after the launch to use forward 2-3 and down back 1-4, which looks like this. After this, you can choose whether or not you want to do a wall carry or a regular combo ender. If there's a wall near you, walking up and doing down back 4-3 is usually ideal. This is because you can get a wall ender instead. If there isn't a wall around, you can use forward 2-1 instead. If you want to maximize your damage on this combo, try and make sure you know where the wall is while you're doing the combo. Another small optimization is you can insert a forward 4 right before your combo ender. If you're having trouble getting forward 4, make sure your dash is as deep as possible. Routing for back 3 should be followed up with 4-3. We can use 2-1-1+2 to tailspin, and then we're back in that situation where we want to decide if we want to do a carry or do a regular combo ender. Let's talk about some of her crouching moves and while standing. So crouching, we have down forward 2. We can hold down forward 2, and we can just press 2 and we'll get this. This move only does 10 damage. However, on counter hit, we can follow it up with more stuff. So you crouch first, you let go of down, and then immediately press 1-4. After you get this knockdown, you can follow it up with any move you want. We also have while standing 3, so we're going to hold crouch, we're going to let go and press 3 immediately. This is another launcher we can use. We also have while standing 1+2. We're going to let go and press 1+2. And this move is really good because it's safe and also gets a free combo on counter hit. These are the moves that I use the most if I'm going to be using crouching moves. Generally, while standing 1+2, I will use at this range. Covers a lot of ground, and like I said, it's safe. Other moves I'd like to use is while standing 2-1. Just because we get +9, which gives us a free mix-up on hit. Let's say our opponent likes to mash after getting hit with while standing 2-1. We can just counter hit them with back 4. Whenever you think there's a counter hit opportunity, make sure you use back 4. So the general mindset during a match is you want to think about the range that you're at and the moves that are going to be best to use in that moment. So we talked about this mid-range. We want our goal to be controlling space. So forward 3 and forward 2-1 are going to be the best moves we can use at this range. Also, if they're mashing, we'll make sure we punish them with forward 2. Close range, we're going to be making them fear our down 1+2 and mixing it up with 1+2. Finding counter hit timings with back 4, and finding opportunities to use down back 1-2. If we narrow our gameplay down to those key moves, we'll have a very easy time understanding what we need to do. Another move I forgot to mention is can-cans, which is down 3+4. This is a low launcher, and it's really good for counter hitting people who like to mash as well. Asuka also has 4 parries, so she has 2 punch parries and 2 kick parries. Her general punch and kick parry is back 2+4. This move will parry any mid or high punch or kick. Now we have our punch parry. So our punch parry is only going to parry punches that are mid or high. This is a bit harder to do because if they throw a kick, you're going to get hit. So you have to make a much harder read, but instead you get a full combo. I would like to note with parries is that you do not want to use this move hoping that they walk into your parry. If you hope that they walk into your parry, you're going to be ruining your offense as you're using the parry as a crutch for defense. What you want to do instead is make sure you're paying attention to your opponent and their habits, and when you think they're going to use a punch, then you use the parry. This is what's known as making a read. Now we'll look at her kick parries, otherwise known as sabakis. Her first sabaki is back 2+3. This move will parry any high or mid kick. This also gives you a full combo. This is also another scenario where you need to make a very hard read whether or not they're going to hit you with a mid or high kick. There's risk and there's lots of reward. Now we'll look at her low kick sabaki, which is down back 1+2. Again, you get another crumble and a free combo. Again, you'll be making another hard read whether or not your opponent is going to hit you with a low kick. Once you have a read on your opponent, these parries will become very powerful and completely shut down their game. So now we'll talk about Naniwa and her heat system. So Asuka's heat system is very simple. We activate heat, and we have 3 moves on our move list that are now buffed. These 3 buffed moves are while running 1+2, forward 1+2, and up 1+2. If our opponent blocks any of these moves, we get plus frames and another opportunity to press buttons before our. So we'll use while running 1+2 and then we'll use back 4. We see it counter hit them because we had the plus frames and they had to block our Naniwa move. You can also use forward 1+2. However, this pushback isn't going to give us that same opportunity. Then we have up 1+2, which gives us +8 and the ability to mix up our opponent. Don't be afraid to use these moves, as this is what the heat system is for. It's used for aggression and mixing up your opponent. We also have our heat smash, which is another way to 50-50 your opponent. If we use our heat smash and press 1+2, they have no choice but to respect this, and if they do press a button, then they're going to get counter hit and you can combo them. You can mix this up with down 1+2. That's all I have for you guys today. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and like this video if you think this helped. Thanks for watching, guys.